Salone Culture in Dubai. Fatima Bio explains her plans. Concord Times Summit up this Friday. President Bio rewards 42 outstanding teachers. Grab a copy of the Women's Voice newspaper. Read more on the stories inside. From the Women's Voice newspaper, we take the Guardian newspaper, and its front page reads, NIPS opens public-private dialogue. Ambassador Yangao discusses Sierra Leone's health care with Russia's Ministry of Health. Kolka to miss out in Leone Stars friendly in Morocco. Grab a copy of the Guardian newspaper, read more on the stories inside. The Salone Compass newspaper, its front page reads, Chief Minister Naksa boss indicted in attempted ritual murder. Cosmetic energy reformation as blackout kills 4 in Kenema. Grab a copy of the Salone Compass newspaper and read more on the stories. New exposes SLPP ministers' rogue neck staff. The Sierra Media Express newspaper, its front page reads, SLPP lower level elections, battle for Western Area chairman rages on. Our democracy is at stake. Hypocrisy at its best. Grab a copy of the Sierra Express newspaper, read more on the stories inside. The Times newspaper, its front page reads, new twist in attempted ritual murder case. SLPP government indicted. No hiding place for Naksa boss and chief minister. As Kamariba's custody goes international, big protest awaits SLPP government. Grab a copy of the Times newspaper, read more on the stories inside. The Awareness Times newspaper, its front page reads, as Justice Adrian Fisher rules against plaintiff over non-service, APC versus APC case adjourned to 18th October 2021. Court Reporters Association appreciates Chief Justice for capacity training. Grab a copy of the Awareness Times newspaper, read more on the stories inside. The Premier News newspaper, its front page reads, President Bio vows to continue reforms. Koinadugu by-election, APC wins chairmanship and SLPP wins councillor. Children could feel impact of COVID-19 on their mental health and well-being for many years, UNICEF says. Grab a copy of the Premier News newspaper, read more on the stories inside. The Covenant newspaper, its front page reads, why SLCB remains the undisputable industry leader in Sierra Leone. Africell offers free data for Techno, ITEL, and phone users. NACIT launches Customer Service Week celebration. NCRA introduces National Identification Number. Grab a copy of the Covenant newspaper, read more on the stories inside. The A to Z newspaper, its front page reads, NEC announces Koinadugu by-elections results. World Bank donates 55,200 Johnson & Johnson vaccines. And of course, Haramu, prices of goods and services, government not responsible. National Youth Summit to be held in November. Grab a copy of the A to Z newspaper, read more on the stories inside. The Independent Observer newspaper, its front page reads, 572 police reported at CDIID, 49 suspended. Ambassador Mohamed Yango discusses Sierra Leone's health care and sanitation with Russia's health ministry. Grab a copy of the Independent Observer newspaper. Read more on the stories. Our last paper for this morning is the New Age newspaper. Its front page reads, Pujonget, University of Sierra Leone campus. Delay in government subvention, Ombudsman office in 1.5 billion yuan debt. Slacker bosses justify spending. Grab a copy of the New Age newspaper, read more on the stories inside. Gentlemen, these are the front pages of our papers this morning, and of course, viewers, you can be part of the show, as I stated earlier, by sending us your views, comments, and contributions via our Facebook page, the Africa Young Voices Media Empire. It's front page, and I'm your host this morning, Swaleho Vande. We go straight to taking a look at the banner headline from the exclusive newspaper, which says, Samura Kamara angry, I will never honor ACC invitation again. I'll read the first 2 paragraphs and see how we can discuss it. A tense political drama played out at the Anti-Corruption Commission ACC headquarters on Gloucester Street on Tuesday afternoon between the All People's Congress Party APC presidential flag bearer Dr. Samura Kamara, supported by hundreds of party supporters and sympathizers, and the commissioner and staff of ACC. With a tense crowd of APC supporters waiting outside to hear the outcome after another interrogation session with the ACC on the misappropriation of funds provided by the government for the renovation of the country's Chancery building in New York. A visible Dr. Samura Kamara, who came out to be greeted by the APC supporters, signed the party victory song, singing the party victory song, blasted the ACC commissioner and his staff for allegedly doing the dirty work of people that want to smear his image. Dr. Samura asked if the ACC commissioner would like to be followed wherever he goes by a crowd. He described the ACC trying to please others at his detriment, which he said the ACC won't be able to do. Dr. Samura Kamara told his supporters that he is a child of God. He wondered why ACC wants to walk from the answer to the problem when they already know the answer. At that point, Dr. Samura Kamara made an outburst by declaring that anyone trying to tarnish his image has got literally spanking an anger trigger by the tail. I will chase that person, he vowed. Deploring ACC's delay in investigating the matter, Samura Kamara furthered, I am not doing this for myself, but for the country. We know where we are. This crowd is a demonstration of frustration. These people have faith and confidence in me to work with them. The noise ACC has had sends a signal to them. I, Samura Kamara, will never come here again. Let us go to court. A lengthy story, gentlemen, and I'll start with you, Pewa. Here is the former flag bearer of the 2023 presidential elections for APC, Dr. Samura Kamara, who is being investigated by the ACC. And of course, he is saying this is a mere waste of time and he will never honor such an invitation.
Well, I'm not giving credence to what he has said, but as a public servant, I think it behoves each and every one of them to actually answer to calls as and when they are needed.
Okay.
For us as a citizen, there are due processes that state institutions do follow whenever they are executing their mandates.
Okay.
And that the ACC is not an exception to that. So if an issue or instances of alleged corrupt practices raises up or are being brought forward by members of the public, and ACC happens to work in tandem with the reports they received or the innuendos that are in the public domain, then I think it is their mandates, their constitutional mandates, to ask those whom they think should answer certain questions, and at the same time who they think were at the helm of things whilst those alleged corrupt practices occurred. But one thing we should not lose sight of is the fact that, because this is where we continue to get it wrong as a people. And for us as a people, until we get those anomalies right, we will never be able to actually nib corruption on the board. Samura Kamara, like you did make mention in the intro, is a statesman, an elderly statesman. He has served in so many capacities at a very senior strata, and therefore, if alleged instances of corruption are being investigated and his name is being called, I think it is imperative on him to actually come forward and answer.
But he's saying
it doesn't matter. I am coming. It doesn't matter how far or how long it has taken. The most important thing, we are aware of the fact that anti-corruption, in fact, made some strides in making sure that they went as far as the United States, in making sure that all those people, including the contractor himself, were questioned. And therefore, for him that is vying, like the writer did say, that is vying for the highest position in the land, I think for him to exonerate himself in all or from all those accusations, it is better for him. Like he has started, as a peaceful citizen, as an elderly statesman, a respected elderly statesman. It is imperative on him to cooperate. It doesn't matter how long it has taken, but cooperate so that at the end of the day, the public itself will be able to actually see where the gray areas are. So it is important.
Samura is saying this is a mere effort by the ACCs to smear his political career.
Every other politician or statesman will say that. Every other statesman. It is not just unique or peculiar with him. Every other statesman will say that. So as a respectable statesman, I think he has an assignment to do, and that assignment is for him to cooperate. Like I said, it doesn't matter how long it takes. This is an investigation. Investigations may point at one end, and they will have to go there. They shake that forest for the facts to come out. And if he is being asked to come on, on interval or at interval to come and actually, profile his own side of, the allegation for him to be cleared, I think he needs to, comply, and he needs to actually obey those invitations. Okay. But like I had wanted to make mention of the fact that politicians using people, I will not call them, I will not say human shield, but to come with people whenever they are invited, I think it is not helping the situation. What is more important?
Is he actually the one that brought the people out, or the people came because they knew he was going?
That is what I am coming to. That is what I am coming to. For us as a people, whenever our interests are being invited for questioning, either by the ACC or the police or any other, institution, and you see people, actually canvassing around that person, going to those places, disrupting the process, it is not helping. What is more important is for the supporters or the citizenry or those interested members of the public to actually ensure that what their interest is being accused of happens to be the opposite. But for you to go there, it is as if supporting what the man has been accused of, or actually ensuring that because it is my interest, it is my area of interest, and it falls within my region, my tribe, my political party, and therefore let me go and throw that support behind it. And we have seen that even in the house, court session or during court sessions, people go in there. Yeah, you go there, but you don't make, an instance wherein the process will be disrupted. So as a peaceful citizens and as a forward-looking, supporter citizens going forward by extension, I think we should desist from such support, because for us, I see it as a way of giving credence to the actions of those who are being accused of, even though it is an allegation. He has not been, found guilty or found guilty. It is an allegation. But what is more important is for us to sit back and look at the process. If you're not satisfied, that is why the democratic, atmosphere created the platform of you seeking redress at the court, like he did say. For him not to honor the invitation or the call of the ACC, further worsen or actually further
let's say will not salvage the situation
at all. So
all right, let me bring in Editayo.
Your supporters to remain calm, compose themselves, and then
let me bring in Editayo on this. Editayo, your take on this entire story. Samura Kamara being thoroughly investigated by the ACC, and now he says he will not honor any further invitations by the ACC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, for giving me the opportunity. From an upright point of view and as a law-abiding citizen, I would not want to be seen supporting what Dr. Samura Kamara did on a particular day. Reason being, as an upright citizen, law-abiding one for that matter, especially someone who is aiming at having the opportunity, right, to be in the highest office, that is the office of the president in Sierra Leone. In my estimation, what Dr. Samura Kamara did on that particular day after his meeting with the Anti-Corruption Commission, it was ill-advised. Reason being, one, Dr. Samura Kamara's statement on that particular day, right, while addressing his followers and what have you, was not in tandem with uprightness and what is expected of somebody who wants to become a president of Sierra Leone. Reason being, Dr. Samura himself, if he happens to be the president of Sierra Leone, he would want each and every citizen to be law-abiding, to be cooperative, and to also follow due process. So for him now to come out of the office and make such statements, one, that because of the crowd that we are out there, the Anti-Corruption Commission had to call off the interview. That one speaks volume. And secondly, again, for him to say, I have told them that I will not be in the position to come here again if they call me, I'm afraid that one for public consumption is not good, right?
So does this place him in an arrogant situation as a statesman?
Definitely. Because if he had wanted to discuss such issue, those issue or statements he made out there would have been best discussed with the Anti-Corruption Commissioner or his team. But for him to take those statements out to his supporters and followers, in my estimation, it is not correct.
Just to be the devil's advocate, one may want to say that maybe it's as a result of wasting his time unnecessarily on issues that are really not relevant that got him to such an angry statement.
But then, as a leader, you have some of the characteristics that should be embedded in Dr. Samura Kamara. One, which is patient. One, secondly, which is maybe decisive, right? Which is also firm, and which is comportive. All of these attributes must be in him. So patience is a virtue. And also, again, if Dr. Samura Kamara thinks what he's being accused of is not correct, the issue of telling his supporter that he has told members of the Anti-Corruption Commission that he will not be coming here again if they wanted them charge him to court should have been best discussed with the Anti-Corruption Commission themselves. But telling his supporters that serve as an act of incitement, right? To incite his supporters to do the negative. So what am I trying to say? Especially representing a formidable political party, that which is APC, which people are now thinking of the opposition party or the government in waiting. And it brings some amount of question mark to the credibility of the whole political party. So what am I trying to say? I think Dr. Samura Kamara should have advised himself better, just as he did yesterday when he called his press conference. That should be a very, what should I say, the most appropriate platform to express his position on issue. And mind you again, just as I says, a senior citizen and a would-be president or leader, as the case may be, should be cooperative. We have had in the case of Dr. Anesbai Kuruma, he was invited twice to the Anti-Corruption Commission. He subjected himself to the administrative rules and regulations of the commission without causing such kind of public attention that Dr. Samura caused. So even Dr. Honorable Alhaji Minkailu Mansare has been called upon. He honored such invitation without causing public outcry. So if Dr. Samura Kamara thinks he is wrongfully accused, let him just be patient allow due process to take its course. And yesterday at the press conference, one journalist asked him, right, a lady, said, Dr. Samura Kamara, what if you are being charged to court, just as you say now, let them charge you to court, and then you are found guilty, what would you do? He has the way in which he plays with it. In as much as I'm not in support of any act of harassment against any citizen of this country, let alone a member of the APC who demands or controls a significant amount of respect, but also again, Dr. Samura Kamara should be the change he wanted to see.
Should be the change he wanted to see. Pewa, do you go by his view that indeed Dr. Samura Kamara acted otherwise? He should have exercised patience. He shouldn't have let his supporters to know that yes, he will no longer honor the invitation of the ACC and so on and so forth. Somebody who intends to actually rule us as president is now saying he will not honor state orders.
Certainly so. To cue from what my brother said, you see, until politicians become the mirror in which society should be able to see itself and replicate the good aspects of it, so that at the end of the day, Sierra Leone will be a better place. In my intro, I did make mention of the fact that in as much as he has served in so many capacities, at a very senior, cadre. He is not just an ordinary member of the APC or an ordinary, card carrier. He is a senior statesman, and therefore, his attitude should be replicative of the fact that, yes, he is a statesman. And until and unless he does that, whatever he is doing now is counterproductive to peaceful, development. So what we are saying as civil society, let us begin to see the fairness, the sincerity, and the honesty in politicians. Okay. If you have been in charge of, resources, and then a day of reckoning has come, I think whatever question that has been posed or that will be posed at you, you should be in a better position to answer that question to the best of your ability. Based on that, other citizens will be able to, judge for themselves that indeed he is a genuine, is a clean.
But he's saying the ACC is wasting his time unnecessarily
you
and
cannot
wanting
say,
to smear his political career.
This is what I have issue with as far as his utterances are concerned. How can it? We have seen people who have gone to courts for issues or over issues. They will be there for years until their demise. That matter will not be adjudicated and verdicts delivered. So for you to be invited for just 2 or 3 times, 4 times, and you're saying you're wasting my time, when it involves money, people's money, millions of dollars, and you're saying your time is being wasted, that in itself is an affront to Sierra Leoneans. When you were in charge of our resources, if you had not wanted, those situations to come up at a much later date after, leaving the office, then I call on every Sierra Leone or every political, interested individual to just back off from politics, because these are questions that will come up for you to be able to actually tell the public how you spent, their resources when you were in charge of it. So if you're saying that they are wasting your time, when investigation, and these are the very
Surprised
people.
that you are saying if you are not ready to be accountable to the people,
don't go near
take public
politics
office.
at all.
Okay.
Don't go there. These are people, when anti-corruption calls them once and decisions are taken, they will say, we are not giving due process. I was not given time to, explain myself. Now he has been given time to explain himself, and he is now saying, wasting his time. That is an effrontery to the people of this country.
Editayo?
What I wanted to say is this, According to Dr. Samura Kamara yesterday at his press conference, he alluded to the fact that he had been at the forefront of this whole planning to renovate the chancery of the Sierra Leone High Consul in the United States of America,
New York,
dating from the days of the late Dr. Hamad Kaba. right, who expressed interest in renovating that particular building, but backed off only for Dr. Nesbai Koroma to continue with the process. And then he also intimated us that this particular building under review, if wanted to be touched, must have gone through serious consultation with the New York government or the United States government. That which is very clear. So, in my estimation, he has knowledge about the process under review. All what Dr. Samura Kamara should do now is to allow the due process to take its course and let the citizenry or the masses out there have sympathy for him if he's been harassed or intimidated by the Anti-Corruption Commission and what have you. So without allowing that particular sympathy or pity scenario to develop itself naturally and the people empathize with him, now he had gone ahead making some statements that is not in tandem with statesmanship. So what am I trying to say? I think if Dr. Samura Kamara has a public relations officer or someone who nurtures him as to how he should comport himself and what have you, has to do more, because he is vying for the highest seats in the country.
Okay.
And such comportment, which is not in tandem with presidency, I'm afraid will subject his presidential bid to disrepute.
All right, viewers, keep sending your views, comments, and contributions via our Facebook page, the Africa Young Voices Media Empire. It's front page. I'm your host this morning, Swaleho Vande. I have with me Daniel Esper from the Civil Society Angle, and of course, my colleague journalist, editor George Temple, the investigative journalist. We take our next pick from the Times newspaper, and its front line reads, as Cameroon's custody goes international, big protest awaits SLPP government. 4th October 2021, of course, is a press release. I'll read exactly. Peaceful protest for Cameroon's prolonged detention and alarming increase of food and basic commodities price in Sierra Leone on Monday, 25th October 2021. A national day to show dissatisfaction towards the government and the judiciary of Sierra Leone on Monday, 25th October 2021. President Julius Maada Bio on 4th October 2021 marks exactly 42 months, 3 years, 6 months since he became president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. The people of Sierra Leone gave 60 months, 5 years mandate to serve as president on the 4th April 2018. As a reminder, Mr. President, you have 18 months, 1 year, 6 months left as the mandate given to you by the people to serve as president of Sierra Leone will expire. To be more succinct, you have served 70% of your tenure as president of Sierra Leone. You have 30% left in your term as president of Sierra Leone. A coalition of civil society organizations, CSO, political parties, and we, the majority people of Sierra Leone, are calling on the judiciary of Sierra Leone, headed by Chief Justice Desmond Babatunde Edwards, to ensure that they dispel fair justice, rule of law, and respect our constitution in Sierra Leone. Mohamed Kamara Mansare, the leader of and chairman of the opposition Alliance Democratic Party, was granted bail by the Honorable Judge, Justice Samuel Omodele Taylor, on the 7th September 2021. We have verified that Mohamed Kamara Mansare has met all the bail conditions. The Master and Registrar is asking for a mere police report as to ascertain the fire incident of Kamarimba's house in Makeni. The police, headed by Inspector General of Police Ambrose Michael Sovla, has refused to give a copy of the police report. We consider this as conspiracy for the continued detention of Mohamed Kamara Mansare. We have also discovered that some orders from above have instructed the Master and Registrar, Eline Thomas Archibald, not to approve his bail. Mohamed Kamara Mansare has been in detention for 15 months since July 2020, following trivial and unsubstantiated allegations bordering on sexual penetration and the political framing of silence, since silencing him been the most vocal and critical opposition of President Julius Maada Bio and his SLPP government. The prolonged detention of Mohamed Kamara Mansare and at the male correctional facility at Pademba Road prisons, which we consider as blatant abuse of his human rights and constitutional rights as a citizen of Sierra Leone. A lengthy story, gentlemen, but it seems as if Kamarimba's continuous detention has actually captured the attention of many, and there is a threat of a public peaceful demonstration. Editayo.
In my estimation, I think the way and manner in which the state, to a large extent, the judiciary is treating Mohamed Kamara Mansare is unfair. I am not here to discuss the nitty-gritty or the nucleus of the matter for which he was charged to court in a bid not to be dragged for contempt of court. But the fact remains, let's look at the issue of the bail that has been granted to him. If bail has been granted, and obviously Kamaremba is not peculiar to bail granting in Sierra Leone. So many people have been granted bail, stiff bail, or what have you bail as the case may be, but they have met those bail conditions. And I'm sure Kamaremba is not poor, nor is not recognized, nor does he not have people around him that would stake their neck to provide whatever bail condition materials the court asked for. So for him to be in detention after being granted bail, it's a what should I say, disservice to the human rights tenets of a citizen.
Editorial, but the judiciary is saying he has not met the bail conditions. To be granted bail is one, to meet the bail condition is another one.
That is why in my submission, Mr. Moderator, I said Kamaremba is not the only citizen of Sierra Leone that has been granted bail, be it stiff bail or whatnot. But
and he's also not, you will agree with me that if you have been following, he's also not the only citizen that has been granted bail but have not met bail conditions. There are a lot of other people behind bars who've been granted bail, but they have not met their bail conditions, and therefore they are still in detention.
Yeah, that is why I said Kamaremba has people behind him, even from his close relatives.
So the question I will put to you is that should we blame the judiciary for his continuous stay behind the bars, or his relatives or people around him who've not actually worked hard to meet the bail condition?
No. I will blame the judiciary.
Why?
Or those shifting the post, because they are shifting the post on his bail conditions. The bail condition as established by Justice Samuel Tetelo is then, right? 100 million leons and 2 shorties of ordinary residents in Freetown, that which has been addressed. They started with a particular issue that one of the lady resides in the United States of America, blah, blah, blah. But those issues have been addressed that she has a business here and she's ordinary resident here. Secondly, they went to the particular position of him being asked to tender his traveling documents, that some of his documents have issues, and he failed to tender his international traveling documents. Now they are talking about his house that was engulfed.
I think he was asked for his American passport, and he said it was engulfed in the fire, and they are asking for a police report of that fire incident. I think that is what has not been submitted according to this writer.
Okay, but then the police report will definitely not be in the total position to capture if his passport was in there or not. Okay, let's say his passport was in there and the police report captured that. Why would it take so long for the police department that is responsible for such issue to help the states or the judiciary with such information, especially when needed? So this, in my estimation, is just a tactics to.
So Editayo, before I come to Pewa, will the proposed demonstration be a solution to Kamaremba's problem?
Mind you, the proposed demonstration as established in this particular press release does not only aim at addressing...
Yes, one of it is to address Kamaremba's issue, and the other is the hike in prices of commodities and blah, blah, blah.
Mr. Moderator, every decent democracy in the world, right, permits protest or demonstration when people want to express their disenchantment.
But will it yield dividends? Because they are doing this to let Kamaremba out. They are doing this to let prices of commodities go down. Yeah. So will the proposed demonstration bring solutions to those problems?
Definitely, because maybe we are discussing it here. It has not gone to the attention of maybe our moral guarantors. They have had some TV, radio, television programs that are not gone there. With a massive and nationwide demonstration, maybe it will get to among grantors, because all of these are hinging on our democratic credentials and the tenet of democracy for which a country is supposed to operate under. Mind you, the hike of basic commodities on the market is also a concern for citizenry. But some people are putting or looking at this particular issue from the political context point of view. No, this is my party. Let us just continue to patient. But you being a member of SLPP, APC, or PMDC, as the case may be, you are buying fuel at the cost of 10,000. You are buying a bag of rice above 400,000 and cement above 120,000, for which it was not so before. More especially when this SLPP-led government that is gradually on the verge of failing us campaigned on the premises of putting a stop to lawlessness, which is still on the increase as established in what happened in Koinadugu, promised to address corruption, which has also been fought on the platform of selective justice, and economic hardship, which has gone much more worsened than the bread and butter issue and food on the table that Jerry Safar and others were campaigning on.
Okay, editor, let me bring in Pewa on this issue. Pewa, there is a proposed peaceful demonstration by a cohort of civil society organizations. Well, they are saying two things. One, that Kamarimba has been behind bars for so long unjustly, and the other, for which they are demonstrating, is simply because of the hike of prices of commodities.
Yes, of course, it is a right of citizens to express their dissatisfaction on national issues through protests, peaceful protests. And the issue of Kamarimba has been dragging for more than a year now. For us as human rights defenders, we are concerned. Why are we concerned? Two things. The first one is because Kamarimba is a political person, the public is not seeing Kamarimba as answering to criminal charges. They are now seeing Kamarimba's issue as a political hunt against Kamarimba because he is a political figure. Mind you, there are so many other people who are behind bar or bars for the same offenses. Their cries have not been heard. Nobody is actually agitating on their behalf for either their release or being put on bail or for speedy adjudication of their offenses or charges. But Kamarimba's issue has been very sensitive, very central in all, national discourse, simply because it's a political individual. And therefore, like I did say, he's not being seen as somebody who is answering to criminal offense, but he's being seen as somebody who has been actually incarcerated because of his political ideology. So government has to be very, very careful in dealing with the issue of Kamarimba. Yes, the presiding judge has granted him bail, but the bail condition that was actually given for him to be out of Bademba Road or the Freetown Correctional Center or Maximum Correctional Center has become another thorn in the flesh, because as we speak, it has not been met. Reason being, well, because of documentation. But for us as right defenders, I don't think, and many other Sierra Leoneans will agree with me, that Kamarimba should not be a flight risk if that is the premise upon which he is being kept behind bars, because according to other state institutions like the judiciary, the police, are saying that he's of flight risk and his American passport has not been presented, and the lady that came forward to actually stand as one of the shorties is not qualified. Reason being, he's not been resident in Freetown or Sierra Leone. He has been, But in all of this, because we want, you see, and that is where I continue to call on governments. You see, government in, government out. Let us don't forget that today it might be Daniel Espewa or Eddie Tayo. Tomorrow it might be Swaliho. So whatever you those wise in office, it will one day come, to haunt you again. I think for the peaceful coexistence, because our democracy is a fledgling one, because we are the situation is becoming very, very volatile. So let us see reasons why we should be able to let go certain things. Because I could remember, sometimes it was in 2012, I can't remember the year. I am sorry to call an individual, but there was I will not call the individual. There was a person standing trial for electoral fraud. And that person, the time I was working for Comium in Kenema, appeared before the then magistrate, who was Momoja Stevens. I was there when the then Attorney General and Minister of Justice sent the Director of Prosecution to Kenema. They issued, is it non-prosecutors? I can't remember, there is a name.
Nolly prosecute?
Nolly prosecute. Yeah, so, yes. They waived off.
No case to answer.
Yes, they waived off the issue. This was one of the state crimes that could, warrant, years of.
You are talking of the case of Robin Falley.
I never wanted to call names. Yeah. And these are, you see, some of these things, they heal wounds. They create cohesion. They create confidence in the minds of, political opponents. So let's see.
So are you expecting search in Kamarimba's case?
This is what we are calling for. This is what we are calling for.
That even though the crime is still under investigation, the government will pass a nolly prosecute.
No, I am not saying. But let the bail condition be also revisited. Let them relax it in such a way that he could be out of, prison, given, medical attention, and then we start from there. But his continuous detention, is raising so many eyebrows.
So will the proposed demonstration be a solution to...
I am not saying it will be a solution, but if this is one of the democratic way for citizens to express their dissatisfaction or disenchantment on issues that borders on national interest, I think so be it. Equally so, coming to the question of economic livelihood of the people.
Yeah, I can.
You and I sitting here very well that even now a sachet of water is now 500 leons per sachet. Before now we used to buy it 2 for 500. So what we are saying is it is getting, serious. It is getting serious. Yes, we are not oblivious of the fact that the COVID has brought so many untold, economic effects, negative economic effects on economies right across the world. But let us see how best, even our own, locally produced items are getting, to a point that you and I, there is a plum called in our local parlance called chuk-chuk plum. Chuk-chuk plum. Somebody took it to a lady took it to our office yesterday. 3 of that plum, very smaller, sizes. 3 of them is 10,000 leons. So you begin to ask yourself, is it being, brought to this country?
Is it imported?
Is it, somebody asked, quote and unquote, Nashibranka. So these are some of the things. And then we begin to hold state actors responsible. They will be here sitting in their, air-conditioned office, taking decisions. Like the transport minister, the trade minister. The transport minister will say from here to Kono is 50,000 or 70,000 leons. My brother, if you happen to miss the bus that runs from Freetown to Kono directly, you end up paying 100,000 leons. Now, all the transport owners or operators are now operating in their own, on their own.
They are not controlled.
In fact, they have their own governments. When you say from where I am to where I want to go, a short distance that will cost 2,000 leons, the man will tell you 3,000 leons. So
somebody will tell you we are in a free economy.
They have their own system. And the state actors will say, they will put it on paper, this is it. But what is happening on the ground is quite different from what is, the reality.
Gentlemen, time is not our friend. Editor, your parting message to viewers.
A parting message is, it is evidence of the fact that things are not going according to the way and manner in which Sierra Leoneans are expecting it to be. And many things under review encompasses what I'm talking about. Apart from the economic hardship, there are significant amounts of lawlessness and human rights abuses going on, in as much as we don't have time to discuss what's transpired in
Koinadogo. We await the APC press conference.
But mind you, Mr. Morioto, and trust our viewers, this is not good for our nurturing democracy, especially when independent organizations like the National Elections Watch, who are states elections observers, seen exactly what transpired, and they came out strongly in their press releases condemning all what transpired there in a full view of the public to nurture significant amount of lawlessness, thuggery, and disrespect for people's democratic rights, to say the least, Mr. Moderator. I'm afraid.
Afraid of what?
I'm afraid that it will metamorphose into something, especially for the 2023 or whenever election, that will not augur well for our society. Because a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And you cannot continue to suppress the masses, just like how then Kwemamide can say, heart not to bone. And if you push somebody to the wall to a large extent, it will rebound, and that will not augur well for our society. Because no one has monopoly over violence, or neither thuggery or advantage, as the case may be. So people have to come out there just as new have started to speak truth to power and let them know that, just as established by Mr. Pewa just now. So today it might be Editorial Temple and Pewa. Tomorrow it might be you. So what would you do if you have the opportunity? How long would we operate on the premises of revenge again?
Okay.
Enough is enough.
Pewa, your party message?
My party message will still hinge around the issue of indiscipline, lawlessness, and that of blatant abuse of other people's rights by few members of the public, the clique or the gang boys. Most of us are victims of their actions today. Now, unfortunately, I'm saying this unfortunately, even though I am a right defender, but your right stops where another person's right begins. And if you cannot protect another man's rights, definitely, I think the state should deal with you. Unfortunately, we've had the expungement of the death penalty. And it is as if the gangs, the criminals, have now resorted to broadly attacking of people, peaceful, unsuspecting citizens in society, just for them to get what they want to get, under criminality. We cannot sit, or settle for this. We are calling on the state apparatus. Now we are hearing of a child kidnapping, death, physical attack at night, ritual murders. These are things a civilized society should not settle for. So we are calling on the state apparatus, the police, the ONS, and every other security sector to actually, put more boots on the ground in making sure that unsuspecting citizens goes to bed with a peace of mind. Their businesses, it is not everybody that, you are not interested in politics. My brother there may be interested in politics. My brother there might be a businessman. It is not everybody that is a politician, or that people are fending living genuinely devoid of politics, devoid of every other criminality. And those people should be able to go to bed with a peace of mind. But now criminals are on the rampage. They are attacking people. They are kidnapping kids. They are kidnapping, even bigger people. So we want to call on the government. If they cannot secure us, then it is sad. If they cannot secure the populace, then it is sad. They have a mandate to protect lives and property. And going forward, we are calling on the IG. The IG, whom I know very well, we are calling on him, and that of the ONS, to please put more boots on the ground to ensure that those criminals are brought to justice. And going forward, citizens continue to live in safety.
All right. Well, viewers, this is where we have to end front page for today. I want to say thanks to my studio guest, editor George Temple, the investigative journalist, and of course, Daniel Espera, who comes from the civil society angle. Apologies for not reading your messages sent in here this morning, but of course, we promise to read subsequent ones in subsequent programs. Many thanks to my producer, Mohamed Lamin Banya, and the rest of the technical team. Till we meet again, Swalehu Vande has been your host, wishing you a pleasant day.
You're watching AYV Television.
Our ACC cereal bars come in different flavors from healthy fruits around the world. Get a taste and snack with a smile on your face. Yummy! Our flavors include fruit and hazelnut, yogurt and wild berries, yogurt and strawberries, yogurt and tropical fruit, wild berries. Get an AXA bite and capture everyone's attention. For wholesale or retail, contact AA Global Enterprise, 124 Kisi Road, Freetown, or call them on 079 538 878 or 099 772 553. AXA cereal bars. Taste crunchy, taste yummy.
Aziglobin. Hey, uncle, don't wake this morning. Who's one of the siglobin, where they are? Aziglobin. Now the medicine we're good for you, well body one. It gets boku, vitamin, mineral, and iron param. Aziglobin, they're too tight. You get the syrup and you get the capsule. It gets boku yayam param. We're gonna make your body stronger and your blood go flow fine when you take them. Aziglobin good for belly woman where they see in 10, person will just come up and see, and then one day where they do spot. Well, who's okay the Aziglobin capsule and syrup for buy? Aziglobin then are all them pharmacy, drugstore, supermarket, and their enterprise for sale. If you want Aziglobin boku for buy, you go na people's pharmacy where they not 34 Regent Road, Freetown, or you call them at their number 076 695 903 or 099 390 005. Aziglobin syrup and capsule. Now you answer for your well body one. And if you take Aziglobin after 3 days, you not feel better, now for go see you doctor 110.
You still dey suffer from this malaria sick because you still not take the right malaria medicine yet. When you take Bicotem anti-malaria drug, it dey flush all the malaria parasites in your body. Bicotem malaria treatment dey work fast. As you take Bicotem tablet or the syrup, you go begin feel better. One time. Stop malaria now with Bicotem. The tablet and the syrup good for big person, pikin, and young baby safe. Bicotem, the anti-malaria treatment for fat malaria and make you get well body. They also get Vestamin syrup wey good for a build body. For healthy and strong body, drink Vestamin syrup. It get boku protein. So wash go one time na People's Pharmacy na 34 Regent Road, Freetown, and get you Bicotem tablet or the suspension. If after 3 days you not feel better, now for go see your doctor one time. Bicotem and Vestamin, then are all the pharmacy, drugstore, and patent medicine shop all over the country. People People's Pharmacy, the first choice for quality drugs.
Ibo Sio, Big Breeze de Blow Natong, the Wontoni Foundation, for Seka the month of the aged, they pull Nado for the first time na Salone. Old is gold. This na beauty contest for senior citizens them. Saturday, October 16, 12:30 Santem, na Inido Riley Right Hall. That na the new YWCA Hall, Brookfields by Stadium. Radio for Bato, Wara Cook Scene from Main Street. Yonko Mansare Elias Yonko Soda from Kongotong. You not see Natty yet. Wacho Bayanda for Ramatu Conte Elias Di Granit and Pekito. Kube and Takora Di Kona don't shine Yaya Kabia for tin up for them. Now that 10-day magazine cut them boss with Fatima Toure alias Nick the Granite celebrity. The MC then go be Jakadi Johnson and Dennis Nelson Streeter. Ticket price na just 20,000 leon and 100,000 leon for VIP them. Come look with senior citizen. Then go they mime and dance on the side attraction them. Ministry of Social Welfare, Rokel Commercial Bank, Destiny Shipping Company, AYV, Afrigas, helping the community. Compassionate Health and Wellness Clinic, Radio Democracy, Little Lamb Limited, MK Stores, and Family Kingdom. Now they all put on for Bato Destinada. Old is gold. Beauty contest for senior citizens. Saturday, October 16. Now the new YWCA Hall, 12:30 Santem. All you 20,000 or 100,000 Leon Nomo Foot Maleka.
Me na Alaji Bailo Jalo, I mean the founder and CEO of Focus 1000. When you see my plates, na the most powerful weapon or tool where we get na the world for fight them bad sickness them. With my plates, we be able to fight smallpox. Now smallpox not in the world again. We don't use backplates for fight tetanus. Tetanus with the clip picking a bad one. We don't see tetanus again so. We don't use backplates for fight measles. Measles be the kill picking and bad now this country all over the world. We don't see measles so again. We don't use that same backplate say for polio. You don't say polio, if they kill them picking their foot, we don't see and so again no more. So now we corona don't cancel. Believe me, backplates now for use again for fight corona, able for fight corona.